Alright, gang. Yeah. So y'all know what we're gonna talk about tonight. Y'all know what we're gonna talk about tonight. Let's break it down. It's Javion McGee. Javion and McGee. Today we talking about Javion and McGee. I just had to leave a stream, somebody's stream I was watching. Man, the guy was talking for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and he never got to the topic. I was like, wow. But anyway, so what we talking about tonight is Javion McGee. He was a young person, African American male, who was he had just become a truck driver. Just got a CDL, gonna start driving truck. So and some on I guess his family, whatever, didn't hear from him. And nobody heard from him, didn't know what was going on. Then come to find out, he was deleted. They found him deleted by a tree, and he had a rope around his neck. So he had once they found him, they reported it to his family. And after they reported it to his family, they started kind of like giving him the runaround on trying to go see the body and, you know, trying to get more information and all this. And so the story is Javion Martin, the deleted kid, supposedly self-destructed himself. But the family is saying something else happened. Because, of course, he had a rope around his neck when they found him. And he was by a tree, which y'all know what the idea of that is. So, the process is trying to find out, did he self-destruct himself? Or was it some racism? And somebody did the old-fashioned to what used to happen to us 400 years ago. They trying to figure out if somebody did to him how we used to get treated 400 years ago, or if he self-destructed himself. My opinion, it wasn't a self-destruct. Y'all know it wasn't no self-destruct. Y'all know he done self-destruct himself, man. Come on now. The facts is all on the news. How the story came out, how it's all chopped up, how the police detective, or whoever that big bald head guy is, he break down his side on it wasn't a lynch. He's saying it wasn't no racism. It wasn't nothing like that. He's just swearing it wasn't nothing like that. But the family don't believe it, and I don't believe it. Now there's footage out that done came out.
We're asking questions after this man was found dead in Vance County at the base of a tree with a rope. We're asking questions after this man was found.
The same rope they found around his neck, they got footage that just came out on him going to Walmart and buying that rope. So apparently, this young kid that allegedly deleted himself went to purchase a rope in good spirits. Because on the footage, you can clearly see he's in good footage. And I'm about to show y'all. Don't look nothing like he's about to get ready to delete himself. They want us to believe he happily went and bought a rope to go delete himself. There's a space between from Walmart where he went and bought the rope and where his truck was at. Because I told you he was a CDL driver. He had just become a CDL driver, so he just got his truck. So in between where Walmart was at and where his truck was at, that's where he walked to. Then they said they got him on camera walking from his truck. Just walking off from his truck. So we still waiting on footage of him walking off from his truck. I guess going to the deleted spot.
dead in Vance County at the base of a tree.
But this is the story. Yeah, we gotta check this out. We gotta check this out, man. Cause come on, y'all. Y'all know when it comes to the kids, man. Silent clap back, clap back. So we don't play about the kids. Not over here. We don't play about the kids over here.
Questions after this man was found dead in Vance County at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck. His name is Javion McGee. Many of you reached out to us after a TikTok video went viral. WR's Destiny Patterson has been digging into his death and joins us live from Vance County. Destiny, you spoke to the sheriff today. What do we know about this crime, about this case from law enforcement?
Just in the last 20 minutes, we've gotten a search warrant that gives us more insight into this investigation. A representative for the family says that Javion McGee was a truck driver, and I'm told that trucks often park here while making deliveries at a nearby Walmart distribution center. The sheriff said that McGee was found outside of a fenced area of this business, and they say that they found him at the base of a tree with a rope around his neck. 21-year-old Javion McGee stomped through Vance County as part of his job as a truck driver. It's a long way from where he lived in Illinois. Deputies found him dead Wednesday under a tree with a rope wrapped around his neck.
We have a lot of questions, not enough answers.
Candace Matthews identifies herself as a spokesperson for his family. She says law enforcement initially told
Miss Candace Matthews. Y'all remember that name? Because that's the hero of this story. That's who gonna bring light to the family. That's who's out fighting for the family. That's who out fighting. That's who sacrificing right now. She taking every second of her life, every breath of her body right now to figure out what's going on. And I think she's supposed to be like the spokesman. Not the spokesman, but kind of like the. Well, I think they just basically said who she was. You know, almost like, you know, the lawyer, the person that speaks for the family, like a big advocate of stuff that happens mysteriously to African Americans. So I think she's a big advocate on that, but she's the one that's you know pulling out the big toolies to find out what happened to this kid.
McGee died by suicide.
This young man has not had no indication of no type of suicidal ideation. He doesn't have a history of mental illness.
At no point in time that we have said this was a suicide.
So before we can listen to this bald head dude right here, and I'm telling y'all right now, he probably about to make y'all mad. But you just heard what she just said. The lady for the family just told y'all Javion McGee didn't have no history of self-destruct. He had no signs. He showed no signs. Very happy, very motivated, very energetic kid with a lot of life to live. Still young, showing no signs. This guy right here, I guess he's supposed to be the chief, the sheriff, or something. Just listen to what he got to say.
Has not had no indication of no type of suicidal ideation. He doesn't have a history of mental illness.
At no point in time that we have said this was a suicide.
Vance County Sheriff Curtis Brame says they're still investigating McGee's death. McGee's family does not believe he took his own life. But how can we rule out a hate crime at this point?
Look at me and who I am. If I thought that anyone, regardless of their race, was lynched in Vance County, I would have it all over national news. When we got there, he was sitting with his back up against the tree on the ground. It's something common we would say, and we would call a jail suicide or homicide, where a person does not have enough height to hang or dangle.
McGee's.
Well, that's something what we would call. That's something what we would call somebody committing a hummer, committing a hummer. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to keep it YouTube friendly. That just sounds like somebody committing a homicide and rearranging the body as if he self-destructed himself. You can easily commit a homicide, take him down from the tree afterward, sit him against the tree, and make it look like a self-destruct. It's easy. You can easily do that. But for some reason, this African-American sheriff who should be fighting for this kid, who should be speaking in terms of anything that got to do with, something negative happening, he should be helping out the family. He should be in spirits of trying to help them out. But it seemed like he's more concerned about trying to make the city look like they're not racist. He's more concerned about trying to make, I guess, the police department look like they wouldn't do nothing like that. Almost like some politics / you know what I'm saying? Something you can clearly tell that he don't care about this kid. You can clearly tell he just trying to make the city look good.
His family says they were told surveillance footage showed McGee buying a rope from Walmart. The sheriff says they're still looking into that. He says the medical examiner's office will officially determine the cause of death.
Mom and stepdad and dad have not even seen his body yet.
Sheriff Brink.
So that's the runaround. The runaround is why the family done heard this news and got the confirmation. They can't even go view the body. They stopped them from going to view the body because they saying, which I thought COVID had broke out like years ago. They stopped them from viewing the body talking about COVID. Like COVID is the reason why y'all can't come in and view your deleted family member. What kind of sense do they make? I've never heard that. Like, what harm is it gonna do if I got a deleted family member and me and my family members is coming to visit? We're coming to view the body. Why would COVID? How could we catch COVID? Or why? Who would COVID affect? If it's a deleted body, and we all that's coming don't have COVID, how can we catch COVID from my deleted family member? Do I catch COVID from my deleted family member? Is that what you're saying? You trying to say who we coming to view got COVID? The deleted got COVID? Can deleted bodies catch a COVID, y'all?
Says the family could not view the body in person due to distance.
We want to see it.
Distance. They was worried about the safety of the distance to go view a deleted body. The safety of a distance to go view a deleted body.
Everything. We want full transparency.
As I mentioned before, we do now have a search warrant. We're going to continue to dig through that and bring you those details as we get them.
So they had to go get a search warrant, which is sad. You had to go through all that. They had to get a search warrant.
Sorry. Good afternoon. Sorry for our charges. I know we planned to be at 12:30, but we're speaking to the investigators here at the Vance County Sheriff Office. Along with myself, Lee Merritt, Jason Keith, we stand here with the McGee family. Javion's father, Corey, his mother, his stepfather, Marcus. Mom, come with me. I want you to introduce yourself. I want
for purposes of the media, we're going to do something quick. My name is Lee Merritt, L-E-E-M-E-R-R-I-T-T. We're going to have Javion's mom and his dad step to the microphone and spell their name for us. And let's just step back. Yeah.
Hello, I am Tierra Roberson Gates.
The microphones is very low. I don't understand why. See, this is another thing that bothers me about stuff like this. When you got somebody that's going through a family going through a serious tragic situation like this, when they get ready to come out and make a speech, and when they get and they making their remarks on microphones to the city and everybody trying to get their word out, why don't y'all check the microphones? Make sure they're gonna be heard clearly and their volume is up loud. So people that ain't even there, that's down the street, they can hear what they saying. That's the whole point. She's trying to reach out. She's trying to reach out to everybody. She want everybody to hear her words. They want everybody to hear everything that they got to say. They all got the microphones all cut down, all sounding bad. It's just sad, man. It's just sad. We're more concerned about a rapper having a better microphone than a family that done lost their child from mysterious, from a mysterious passing. We're more concerned about giving a rapper a microphone and hearing him sound real good than a mama that's trying to reach out to the world to find out what happened to her child. That's crazy.
S as in Sam, O-N, Gates, G-A-T-E-S.
My name is Corey McGee. It's K-O-R-I-M-A-G-E-E.
I mean, the microphones is low. You should move the mics out the way. Y'all shouldn't even bring them out there.
All right, shortly you're going to be hearing from both Mr. Daniels and Mr. Keith, who will talk to you about where we are concerning the investigation and what we're considering as far as litigation. The family has just gone through an exhausting process of reviewing all the evidence in Vance County's files detailing the death of their son. So they're not in a position to answer questions now. So any of those questions are going to be bounced off of us. If you have some questions that you would like to pass through us, that's okay, and we'll see if they're able to answer. We've asked them to limit any statement to how this experience has impacted them, and reserve any legal questions or factual questions for their attorneys, okay? That being said, you'll hear next from...
All right. So let me start by saying here, this is an absolute point classic back on. This is an absolute tragedy, no matter how it panned out. You got a 21-year-old, bright, rising star, independent young black man from Chicago, Illinois, who has taken a path to be independent of his parents, to work as an over-the-road trucker, and was doing a phenomenal job. He found himself here in Vance County, and like I said, the facts are still working its way out, but we do know that he was found hanging from a tree. Now, I know there have been some statements from the sheriff concerning what's considered a lynching or a hanging, but I'll show you the pictures that we saw. Very clear that he was hanging. Not in the manner which you may saw in the 60s and the 20s and 30s, but there's nothing to take away from it. We are here for one reason only, and that sign says very clear, get justice for Javion and the McGee family. To ensure that we get transparency in this process, I know the sheriff, they have sent this case over to the State Bureau of Investigation, Attorney General, to do a further investigation in this particular matter. At this time, let me be very clear, the manner and the cause of death of Javion has not been determined at this time. The manner and cause of death has not been determined. So for any suggestion that it's a suicide, anybody stating that it was a suicide would be grossly premature, right, Lee? Grossly premature. Well, we do know we have a young black man hanging from a tree in North Carolina. When I say hanging, not a traditional feet dangling, but nevertheless.
Let me explain to y'all why he breaking down that the kid was hanging. Because like I said, the bald head sheriff and all the police department are trying to, their fight is to make it look like he wasn't hanging. They're saying he didn't look like he was hanging. Saying he was just sitting by a tree and had a rope around his neck. Well, you are going to hear, just like you hear from the family's attorney. The pictures clearly show he was hung. It's not like the old fashioned back in 400 years ago. It wasn't hanging. He wasn't hanging like that, but it was a hang. And like I said, it's just something fishy about that. Why is the sheriff trying to lean on it not being a hanger? Like, you can say that we don't know if it's self-destruct, or we don't know if it was a hanger. It could have been both. But we're gonna investigate. We're gonna do everything we're supposed to do, and we're gonna find out which one it was. You don't have to throw in there, oh, he wasn't hanging. I don't know why people got this lynch. It was not a lynch. You don't know nothing. Until the investigation is over with, you don't. So you saying you can immediately determine that it wasn't a lynch, but you don't want to immediately determine that it was a self-destruct. Break that down to me, bald head sheriff. That's what we're gonna call him. Break that down to me, bald head sheriff. You're not gonna immediately say that it was a self-destruct. You didn't go to that. You didn't say that. It's what you stated. Oh well, nobody said that it was a self-destruct. Nobody said it was a self-delete. But you clearly talking as if it was a. You clearly talking as if it was a self-delete, because you already subtracting the lynch. You already talking like, oh, there ain't no way. I don't know why somebody would even. You don't know if it was or not. So don't be talking about what's out. Don't sound like you mad because of what's out, because it is an option. Lynching, he could have got lynched, and they could have made it look like with whatever you claiming you seen. They could have made it look like whatever it was that you claiming that you seen. Stop leaning on that it wasn't a lynch until you find out for sure that it wasn't a lynch. That's all I'm saying.
A rope was tied to his neck, around his neck, and tied to a tree. So the next steps here, obviously, continued transparency from the sheriff's office. His family came over from Chicago and Texas. You can imagine the phone call they received about the loss of their son, Javion, which was something that no parent should receive. No parent should have to bury their child whatsoever, under any circumstances. But we are here to ensure that the investigation move forward. I don't care if it's in Vance County, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California. You would not call the family and tell them a suicide and the investigation is not complete.
Right.
That's invoking Lee and myself, Jason, and other attorneys and civil rights activists to come here to make sure the investigations is carried out properly. Because anybody, it don't matter who you are, if somebody receives a phone call as such troubling as this and say, hey, this is what we believe would happen, come get your loved one, that's a red flag. The parents didn't have the opportunity to see the body or any pictures to even identify Javion. Today was the first day they saw pictures to identify there was in fact Javion. So we need to make sure throughout this entire process, wherever the facts result may lead, we need to make sure it's a thorough investigation. One thing we can be very clear, no matter what the findings are or an investigation, nobody can say exactly what happened at that particular time. I wasn't there. The sheriff, or whoever else does investigation was not there. We don't have a video of that. But we do know that, like I stated before, Javion had a rope tied around his neck, and that rope was tied to a tree. The tree is about 8 feet off the ground, the limbs about 8 feet off the ground, Lee. So, with that being said, we're gonna have more questions. I'm gonna bring up Jason.
Pause. Y'all heard what the attorney just said. The limb, whatever the limb the rope was tied on, was about 8 feet in the air. Javion McGee is not 8 feet. He looked like he was clearly about 5'7". He might have been about 5'7", 5'8". How are you gonna tie a rope to a branch that's 8 feet in the air at 5'7", 5'8"? How you gonna tie a rope to the branch that's 8 foot in the air, tied, come back down, tied around yourself? Y'all hear it's exactly how it sounds. Sound like some BS.
And I think anybody want to put a family speeches? Okay. All right, we're gonna bring up Jason Keith. He's the local counsel in North Carolina.
First of all, look, I would like to say We would like to thank Lee Merrick, Mary Daniels, and this is Andrew Covington with me for coming. You might ask, why are we here? Accountability, transparency. The community needs answers, and we're here to apply pressure. Lee is flown in from Texas. Harry's flown in from Georgia. I'm out of Greensboro. Covington's out of Raleigh. We're here for answers, and we're not leaving until we get them. The family deserves them. And we've seen the videos, we've seen the photographs, and this investigation is not complete. This investigation is too premature for any determination to be made what happened. What we want is we want answers. We want them now. We want them as soon as possible. And we want the system to work, because this family should not be in a position where they get a phone call about this young man coming into this county, working his job, and that he's found hanging from a tree. And the pictures, it's horrible. And this county deserves to explain, to spend the resources to let us know every detail of what happened. And that's what we're here for. And so I think Harry is right. I think Lee was right. I think Covington, everybody, we're here to apply pressure, and that's what we're going to do. And we're going to stay as long as it takes. And we're going to talk to who we need to talk to, and we're going to make as much noise as we need to get answers, to get the truth, and to make sure there's justice for Javion.
Right.
Like the other counsel said, we're here to get answers and justice, and we're not going to leave until we get that. There's no reason why we don't already have these answers, and we're going to work as hard as we can until we get them.
A moment ago, Lieutenant Bishop from the Vance County Sheriff's Department spoke with the family at length. The meeting lasted about 2 hours, where we began to get into the actual evidence that's currently in their possession. Some significant points were made. I'm open to any questions that you all might have about that. One thing that we found conclusively, and I'll back up a moment ago, as I mentioned, my name is Lee Merritt. I'm a civil rights attorney. The reason that the family has asked me to be a part of this case is because we're not investigating a personal injury case or a wrongful death case. We're investigating the lynching of a young man in 2024. It would be a misnomer to say that that kind of thing doesn't happen anymore. We saw a public lynching in the murder of Ahmaud Arbery. We've seen public lynchings, or the racialized killings of individuals, and it's something that needs to continue to be investigated and taken seriously. Unfortunately, in this country, we haven't dealt with our ghosts of racism and lynching, and so we often want to sweep it under the rug. The family has brought in these attorneys to ensure that that does not happen. Concerning what we have found, the medical examiner's report determined that there was bruising along the neck and a broken neck bone, which means that he indeed, we're learning.
So, the attorney, he's a civil rights attorney for the family. He just stated to y'all, there was injuries to the kid, to Javion McGee's neck, hemorrhaging to his throat. You understand what I'm saying? He just noted it was hemorrhaging to Javion McGee's throat. So that means you can't hemorrhage your own neck. There's no way you can choke yourself to death. You can't strangle yourself to death. You can strangle yourself. Well, if you hang, you know, if you self-destruct, but everything's just sounding fishy. Everything is saying, and the police didn't mention anything about his neck. They didn't mention nothing about his neck. The attorneys are mentioning this about his neck. They bringing this to the world. The hemorrhage into his neck. The police and attorneys, they didn't say none of this. So that's another red flag.
We're working on gathering additional evidence to see what that actually means.
Red and black flag.
Open it up to myself or the attorneys or any of the members of the family for questions.
So you just used the word lynching. Hate crime has also been out there. What makes you think that's the case as opposed to other possibilities at this point?
Yeah, I don't think it's the case. To answer your question, I think that lynching or a hate crime is in fact the case. What we discovered was that Mr. McGee came into this county on September 11th, and he died by hanging from his neck. The sheriff concluded early on, and we believe prematurely, that it seemed to be a suicide to him. Well, that doesn't seem to be a suicide for me. I don't know too many 21-year-old gainfully employed, happy individuals that travel into North Carolina, buy a rope, and kill themselves. That would be an oddity. It's a possibility, but we would need more evidence before we jump to that conclusion. My job, the reason I was hired, was to investigate a lynching, to investigate the possibility of a hate crime, and to direct the family to wherever the evidence goes.
You know, we've heard a little bit from the sheriff about the timetable leading up to this, but as you mentioned, not entirely.
All right, y'all. So not to strain y'all through that, but you can clearly see what that's about. Well, now what we're about to check out is the video footage. Remember I brought it up at the beginning. That's what we finna see. We finna see Javion McGee in Walmart, and what he's doing, he's purchasing a rope. And they're saying this is the same rope that he was found with around his throat. So
new details in the death investigation surrounding Javion McGee, a man found dead with a rope around his neck in Vance County.
Investigative reporter Mary Smith is here with us. You've been following this all along. You've got brand new video just released. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, that's right. We got this video within the last 45 minutes. It's dated September 10th, the day before Javion McGee was found dead, and appears to show him purchasing rope at Walmart. Here's the surveillance video from the Walmart Supercenter in Henderson. The video appears to show him at the self-checkout purchasing the blue rope. It shows he paid $4.20 for it. You can then see him walk out of the store, and he walks across the parking lot to his truck and drive.
Pause it. Let me explain something to y'all. If I'm finna get ready to off myself,
video from the Walmart Supercenter.
If I'm about to off myself, the last thing I'm gonna do is a good deed. That means Walmart to grab no rope, go to the register, pull out my card with money on it, buy the rope, and then walk out of Walmart. I'm gonna grab the rope and just walk out of Walmart. Cause I'm already, this is my last moments on earth. This is my last moments. What you got to lose? Why would you buy it? Why would you buy a rope? What's the purpose in purchasing a rope when you're about to off yourself? Just go ahead, just get the rope. I thought I lost my life, y'all. Just grab it. Because what I'm saying, it's no need. It's no need in doing basically living like a regular citizen, and you're about to do that. You're about to self-destruct. So just go ahead, and it ain't no go ahead. You just basically, like I said, if I'm finna off myself, I'm not going into Walmart to buy nothing. I'm not purchasing no rope. I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna take the rope. I'm just gonna take it. Why not? Why not just take it? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, there's no reason. Only a person with a right mind on their shoulders. Only a person with a right mind on his shoulders will actually purchase. Go on Walmart, purchase. Walk out smiling, gleaming, speaking to all the customers, speaking to everybody. Man, come on, let's be honest. Let's just be real, y'all. You know good dang well, if you at that time in your life and you about to get ready to do something like that, man, you not finna go in and go walk to a register, pull your card out like you got common sense, buy it nicely, happily, and walk out. So that's odd. That's very odd. It almost made me believe like whoever he was working with or whatever he was doing, it was somebody that had him to go buy that rope. And they had him thinking he was buying a rope for something else. You understand what I'm saying? I think he went in Walmart to purchase that rope for some reason that had nothing to do with what they found. It was somebody either sent him to go get it, or he was working with some other people, and they needed for some reason they needed a rope. Or for some strange reason, he was sent to Walmart to buy a rope. and then they found him deleted with the rope around his neck. It's something fishy about that. I ain't just going to go buy no rope unless I'm doing a project or I'm doing some construction works, you know, doing something. Something fishy about that. There's something very odd about it.
Henderson. The video appears to show him at the self-checkout purchasing the blue rope. It shows he paid $4.20 for it. You can then see him walk out of the store, and he walks across the parking lot to his truck and drives off. The sheriff's office says his body was found in an area off Vanco Mill Road. They say deputies found him near the base of a tree in a seated position.
He walking out in happy spirits, tossing a rope from one hand to the other hand. No worries, no problems, just in great spirits. We clearly know how a person that's about to self-delete, we already know their history before they did it. We already know the signs. The signs, and if you don't know the signs, I could have just compared to y'all the signs of what somebody that's going through a lot look like. They're gonna either be quiet, they're gonna have their head down, it's gonna be something stand out that gives them away. This kid had none of that. He had nothing showing that he had pressure on him where he wanted to delete himself. No, he had nothing. So they're gonna, y'all gonna have to explain that from detail to detail. What happened to this kid?
With a rope wrapped around his neck and the other end attached to a tree. McGee's family believes it was a hate crime, and attorneys representing the family say no history of mental illness. The sheriff's office is calling this a death. The sheriff's office says his body was found in an area off Vanco Mill Road. They say deputies found him near the base of a tree in a seated position with a rope wrapped around his neck and the other end attached to a tree. McGee's family believes it was a hate crime, and attorneys representing the family say he has no history of mental illness. The sheriff's office is calling this a death investigation. His family is now pleading for answers about what happened to him. We have reached out to Vance County Sheriff Brame for more information and updates on this case. We are waiting.
Yeah, but I know how that'll go. We're gonna see how that go. We're gonna see how that go. So we got a 30-year-old law enforcement veteran. She's gonna give her opinion, so let's see what she got to say.
Continued pressure on the Vance County Sheriff's Department to release more details about the investigation into McGee's death after his body was discovered leaning up against a tree with a rope around his neck. Many calling this a hate crime, but the facts of the death are still unclear. Today, that pressure led to the Sheriff's Department releasing a detailed timeline of events leading up to McGee's death, including new details about him buying the rope that was found around his neck, giving hundreds of dollars to a homeless person in a Walmart parking lot, and driving himself back to the area in Henderson where his body was found.
The sheriff also says the preliminary autopsy showed signs of defensive wounds or physical abuse, indicating he was attacked. But civil rights attorney McGee's family are still pressing for more answers as that investigation continues.
As new developments continue to unfold about this case, we wanted to provide you with a bit of context surrounding the case.
Cindy Schofield joins us live now after talking to an expert hoping to make sense of where things go from here. Cindy.
Well, Stephen, Lauren, all the information we're getting is from people who are so close to this case. So we wanted to talk to someone who wasn't involved at all. I reached out to an old trusted source of mine, Lisa Miller, the former chief investigator for the Colorado Attorney General's office, for her take on the facts.
Before he left Walmart, after he purchased the rope, before he gave somebody $100, just gave somebody $100, like a homeless man or somebody, gave him $100. He didn't give them all the money out of his wallet. He just gave him $100. Like I said, it just don't sound like nobody that's about to delete themselves. What I would have done, clear my wallet out. I would have gave you all my cards. I'm like, man, just go spend it all on there. I got this much on this card. I got this much on this card. That's a blessing for me. Take that. That would have been a good sign right there. That would have been a great sign. He probably deleted himself. If I just pull $100 out and give it to you, I'm not finna get ready to leave this planet.
You can't rule it out. I mean, learned a long time ago, never say never in this business.
Lisa Miller has 30 years of experience investigating violent crime, so I asked her today to look over all the evidence publicly available about the death of 21-year-old Javion McGee.
It's a tale of the hate that we have in this world and the divisiveness. I mean, that we can't rule out a hate crime, that a young man was found, and that has to be acknowledged.
Though she can't rule out that his death was a hate crime based on the current evidence, I did ask Lisa if there's anything she saw that points to outside involvement in his death or that he might have been the victim of a crime.
As of right now, I don't see that. I do see a reason to continue investigating. I mean, we have to be really careful because the most deviant of people that want to do bad things are capable of staging scenes to look like suicides.
She said there are...
So did y'all hear what I told y'all earlier? I had just mentioned that earlier. While the bald head chief, is already making assumptions that he's claiming he's not making. You can easily delete somebody and arrange them to make it look like they self-deleted. That's easy to do. It's easy, and the police that got the experience they got, the chief got the experience he got, he should already know that. He should already know that, he should have knew that, and that's why he shouldn't have said what he said, how he said it.
Some key pieces of evidence that lead her to believe law enforcement is on the right track, that they found a person who is homeless who says Javion gave them all his money shortly before he died, and there's also video of him going into the woods alone where his body would later be found. His autopsy also did not reveal...
Now they saying here, he gave him all his money. So it's two different things. One person saying 100, the other person saying he gave him all his money. And I just mentioned to y'all, if he did something like that, then that might be a sign of self-deletion, giving all your money.
Shortly before he died, and there's also video of law enforcement is on the right track, that they found a person who is homeless who says Javion gave them all his...
That don't mean it was all his money. The total of $228 that was given to the homeless person. So this says right here, September the 10th, 2024, 18:28 hours, McGee pulls into the Hampton Inn motel located on Rain Creek Road and parks around the back of the building. Surveillance footage from the hotel showed McGee walking from the back of the hotel to the front wearing a white t-shirt, black shorts, white socks, and dark colored Crocs. McGee is also wearing a black backpack. McGee enters the hotel alone at 18:32 hours and walks up to the front desk. McGee speaks to the hotel clerk and exits the hotel at 18:34 hours and walks towards the back of the hotel. September the 10th, 2024, 18:35 hours, the truck is turned on, and at 18:35 hours, McGee's truck is seen on video surveillance leaving the hotel parking lot and making a right turn on Ruin Creek Road. September the 10th, let's get to where he gave this homeless man some money, because that's what they saying. Where did y'all pull that out? Where he gave a homeless man $228. And I haven't read it nowhere in this transcript right here. It don't say anything truck. McGee is carrying an object in his hand. McGee walks back. September 7th, so the truck ignition turn on. Yeah, they don't say anything about him giving a homeless person no money on his transcript. That's why I'm not reading no more. So let's see what it says.
Money shortly before he died, and there's also video of him going.
So these transcripts that they're showing on the news is not stating anything that she's saying right now about the homeless person, saying that he got this money. So I'm reading this one, and it don't say it either. Walking back towards, and it's real. The words are real fuzzy, so I can't really see. Like, it's fuzzy, very fuzzy. Out of an alien caution, yeah, I can't read that. So yeah, I don't understand that why they brought up him giving money, but it's not stated in the document that they're showing while they're stating that. While they're showing that statement, they're showing the statement, but the documents is not showing the statement, which don't make sense.
Into the woods alone, where his body would later be found.
See how they pulling the statements out of the document
to look like suicides.
She said there are some key pieces of evidence that lead her to believe law enforcement is on the right track, that they found a person who is homeless who says Javion gave them all his money shortly before.
Okay, so it must have been at the top.
Suicides.
She said there are some key pieces of evidence that lead her to believe law enforcement is on the right track, that they found
money. McGee told the person that I don't know how much it is. So it's at the very top. So I was reading all of that, and I meant to read to y'all the top of the money. McGee told the person that I don't know how much it is, but if I had more, I would give it to you. It was a total of $228 that was given to the homeless person. Uh-oh, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. $100 is a lot of money, but it didn't sound like nothing kind of like self-destructive. But this $228 that you just, I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. That's kind of tough. Cause why would he give a homeless man $228? Why would you give a homeless person $228? Like you can do that. You can do that. I'm not saying it's not possible, but that right before a delete, I don't know. That's kind of odd. So
a person who is homeless who says Javion gave them all his money shortly before he died, and there's also video of him going into the woods alone where his body would later be found. His autopsy.
Oh, so it's either one or two. This is either one or two things. It's either one or two things. Either he was on some kind of spiritual, ritual, weird, I got so long on this, you know what they do. Basically where the world is just crazy and everything, is ran by science and all that, and they just decide to pick a day to delete themselves. Like when people that's against people that's against, normalness. Either he was spiritually involved in it, or either he was spiritually involved in that, or somebody, I don't know. I can't. So it's either three things: self-delete. No, it's two things: self-delete, or it was lynch. But if it was a self-delete, the only thing I can think of was he was on a spiritual mission. Like one of the self-destruct spiritual missions. He's probably on a self-destruct spiritual mission if he was not lynched. If it was not no incident, he probably was on a self-destruct spiritual.
Also did not reveal any evidence of him fighting anyone off or clear signs that he'd been harmed by anyone else. Still, she says it's not enough to draw a complete conclusion yet, and she knows how painful that can be for Javion's family.
But that's bad. That's kind of bad. That's bad. Because, like I said, that's great evidence right there. It's not enough evidence, but it's some good evidence to self-deletion. Because I had just explained it to y'all right before they just said that. I have not watched none of this. I have not went and watched none of this news. I explained it to y'all about it. $100, not really a lot. Not really. That basically $100 is not all your money. It's not all your money. $220 ain't all your money, but $228 to a homeless person, that is a lot of money. To just hand on your way out of Walmart. You just went and spent $4 for some rope, and you could have went grocery shopping. But instead, you went and bought it. You went in, you bought a rope, and then you came out and you gave $228 to home. So I don't know. Like I said, man, it's one of them things where what I can guarantee y'all is that it's definitely a good story. This is definitely a good story, because you just don't know. We don't know. It's looking like a self-delete. So, like I said, man,
The family may never get a why, but whys help. And so the police department, the sheriff's department, they owe these loved ones every effort they can make to bring a why to the people that care about this young man.
And so the other big thing that Lisa really drove home for me today is that if you're sharing information on social media, it is so important that you are thoughtful about what you post. Take a second to make sure that what you're saying is true. You know, she said that online activism can sometimes be good, but it can also be very harmful too. So really being empathetic and really thinking about the family before you post anything online is important too.
Yeah, it's always important. It's always important. You always gotta look out. Always gotta look out for the family. Man, it's just sad. It's sad. We don't know.
Every time Attorney Daniels, he'll be in the front.
We don't know. I'm not a conclusion jumper. I don't just immediately say that's what happened. I like to go off of facts and what I see and what I hear, and I like to go off for a little time, because a little time, more stuff come in. So this is just one of them sad cases where it's a sad story, sad situation. He was too young. He was too young, extremely too young. You understand what I'm saying? Nothing like this should happen to nobody. I don't care what age you are, but especially when you're young. It's just, So I can talk a little bit now. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Because like I said, I was leaning toward, and I'm kind of still leaning towards fishy. But now I'm kind of leaning more towards, I don't know. You know, I'm just leaning more towards, I don't know. Because one thing about me, I'm not a person that's always looking for the race card. I don't look for the race card. Everything is not a black and white situation. It's just not. Everything is not a black and white situation. So sometimes I think we be looking for it. We look for it. You know why? Because we've been through it. If you've been through it, of course, that's what you're going to think. Of course you're going to think that. Why not think that? You know what I'm saying? And it's sad. It's just sad, man, you know, because 21 years old, when I was 21, I was living. I was living life, you know. I was doing what any 21-year-olds do, you know. You live life to the fullest. You bump your head a couple times so you don't bump it as hard next time. And then, you know, you pick up stuff, you learn stuff, you get educated as you go. You know, you have people around you that love you. You have to figure out who really love you, and then just who around you just for the front. You know what I'm saying? But to go out like that, to be found like that, that's sad. That's not healthy for the family. It ain't healthy for kids watching. You know, kids watching TV, and you got to see news like this on TV. We got school incidents going on. We got everything that's going on in the world, man. So the last thing we want, let me get my clap back. I gotta get my clap back cup. The last thing we want, man, because we need kids. We need kids right now. Because kids are the future. They're gonna be our doctors, our lawyers, our nurses, judges. They're gonna be everything that everybody that's older than them is gonna need. So to hear about a kid going through something like this, and then the way this happened, where it can be looked at as he got treated like how we got treated 400 years ago in 2024 at 21 years old. That might be more of the reason why the news is buzzing and why everybody is suspicious and the family wants to know exactly what happened, because of what was seen and how he was found, yeah, I would be suspicious, and yeah, I probably would think it was lynching. But as I'm seeing the evidence, you going in, you buying rope, you giving all this money to this homeless person, you park at the back, he's parking at the back. It's not it's not impossible that something that's getting ready to look like a civil rights activist moment may not be a civil rights activist moment, if y'all can understand what I'm saying. And I know this might tick off the family of Javion McGee, but this is the honest. One thing about my channel, I don't speak to make it sweet. I speak to make it complete. You understand what I'm saying? And what I see, what the facts is, with the evidence that they got, the things that he did, what I'm saying is, and this is to the family. If the family can hear this, or they see this, or anybody that send this to them and share this to them, just pray. Just pray as hard as you done ever prayed before. And don't look for the negative. Just kind of wait until all the facts come in. Wait until all the facts come in. Once you got all the facts, then it's time to fight. Then it's time to fight. Sometimes right at the beginning, it's facts right at the beginning. You can fight right at the start. And I know this might look like it's a fight right at the start. It can be titled as, it can be labeled as, but it's a couple of things that's flying in the store that kind of make me suggest that y'all probably want to just step back a little bit and just give it a little second to see what else comes from what they got. Like what other evidence come with the evidence that they already got. Let that kick in, let that come, and hopefully, this was something that wasn't a self-destruct situation. Because, man, the kid was just too young. And he went and got a CDL, too. Just like a couple of my nephews, my couple of buddies, my guys, my little young guys that I pretty much helped raise, I watched grow up. I call them nephews. Man, they like driving trucks. They got their CDL. A couple of them got their CDL and they excited about it. It just remind me of my youngins out there. He wasn't no different. Man went out there, stepped out there and got his CDL at 21. That's a man. So to hear a story like this, that he deleted like that, was found deleted like that, man, that's always sad, man. That's always sad. That's always sad. You don't ever want to, nobody ever want to find nobody in a situation like that, man. You ain't trying to find nobody, man. Especially when and there's another thing too where I can understand the family. We don't never hear about a Caucasian person or an Asian person. We never hear about no other race getting found hung by a tree or hung, like they say, laying by a tree. We never hear about no other color. Why we always gotta be the ones hung? Why we always gotta be the ones found that look like we was hung even though we wasn't hung? Why we gotta be the ones always found like that? Why my color? I got 4 daughters. Why do us as black folks always gotta be the ones to be found hung and not a white person, not an Asian person, not a Hispanic person, no other kind of other color? Only us. Only us. We the only ones that in history, 400 years back and right now. We the only ones that get hung. Why? That's why the family, I understand why the family feel the way they feel. They should feel the way they feel. I found one of them, Lord forbid, I find anybody that I know that's found like that, man. I'm gonna immediately jump to somebody white hung them. That's what I'm gonna immediately jump to because that's where we come from. That's the history we come from. You can't knock us for thinking it or wondering it or hoping it didn't happen or assuming that it did happen, because that's what happens 400 years ago and today. Right now, 2024, it's hangers going on. My skin color. Regardless, what they say, self-delete. Why would I self-delete and hang myself? I can just walk out on the road and get ran over by a car. I can easily end it. There ain't no way I'm gonna end it. I ain't gonna end it like that. Then the bald head sheriff had another say, we call it jail self-destruct. 21-year-old man, what would he know about jail self-destruct? But somebody that did this to him probably had some jail experience, and they probably knew about jail self-destruct. So that's why I was leaning more on it's looking fishy, it's looking suspect, it's looking like almost like the race car about to pop up. But then I seen these couple pieces of evidence, and now I got to kind of step back, and I'm gonna wait. That's why I waited a week before I did this live, because I wanted some more information to come out before I started talking about it. I want to make sure I got some more evidence, some more information. But right now, where it's sitting right now is where it's sitting. And I just told y'all the freshest evidence that they got, which is him going to Walmart buying a rope, him giving money. I just found that's some evidence I just found out as I was going live with y'all tonight. Him giving money to a homeless person right before he left. I didn't know that. So they apparently they just found that out a few days ago. Them two things right there can kind of like, can definitely stall the investigation, because that's significant signs of a self-destructing person. So like I'm just saying, man, just pray, y'all, pull together, pray strong, pray hard, keep everything first, keep your head high, keep faith ahead, keep prayer, and keep just a lot of praying and patience and strength, because you're gonna keep your feet on their neck. Keep your feet on the investigator's neck, but don't jump to conclusions, because you also might not want to hear this too, but maybe it was a self-deletion. It's a possibility. I'm sad, but it is what it is. It could have been a self-deletion. So with that being said, if anything else come out, something that we can get a good answer, a good, at least a good a good reason, almost a good suspicion on why, then we'll go live and we'll talk about it. I'll chop it up. Then I'm gonna break it down to y'all and give y'all a layman's term explanation on why, when, where, and what. But anyway, it's your boy Silence the Clapback King BD. You have tuned into the Clapback Show, and that's all I got to say. Be safe. Ooh.